for Flabonga Monthrothacube. With Dale and Tony breaking all the rules. Talking tech, biz, and straight up chaos. Quick fire guests, oh yeah, we slay those.
Good afternoon. My name is Dale Rodriguez, and this is Flabonga Monthrothacube. With me today, I've got co-host
Zoe Lacey Cooper.
And we've got our awesome guest today,
Neil Parsons.
Neil. Thank you for joining us.
A pleasure.
First and foremost, did you enjoy my promo rhymes on LinkedIn for this?
Yeah, I did. Dale, thank you very much. Did I enjoy it? That might be a little stretch too far, but I was disappointed you missed Neil Orange Peel, because that's what I got at school.
I didn't want to be too obvious.
Yeah, well, okay. Sometimes it's the right answer is right in front of you, you know?
Okay. For the people who don't know you, please could you explain where you work and what you do for a living?
Okay, should we start with what I do, where I live? Right, so my name is Neil Parsons. I am Managing Director for Walters Kluwer Tax and Accounting in the UK and Ireland. I also am responsible for the commercial functions in Belgium and the Netherlands, which is new this year. I've been with WK for coming up to 9 years, maybe. I live in a sleepy little village just outside Chester. I was saying before we came on air, Dale, to Zoe, that we've got a co-op, a pub, and a phone box. And I've not seen a copper the whole time I've lived here, and my kids live in an incredibly sheltered, precious Cheshire bubble, and they've got no idea what the big wide world looks like. And I'm also totally fine with that until they really need to know. I'm married. I've got a lovely wife called Rebecca. I've got 4 kids.
4? Wow.
Grace is 11. Yeah, Ted's 8. And then we had a discussion for a long time about whether to maybe try for another one. And then we got twins. So I've got 5-year-old twins called Henry and Oliver.
Yep.
Our level of parenting, I would say, is decreased over time.
That always happens. Okay, I've got a question for you. So you've got 4 kids, Neil. Which one's your favourite?
Yep. Ted. See how quickly I said that?
Yep, didn't even hesitate. Boom.
So my little boy, so luckily my wife may not tune into a live podcast on LinkedIn, so she can't berate me for that. But yeah, you're not supposed to have favourites, but he's the coolest, best looking, beautiful little boy. He loves playing rugby. Yeah, they're all my favourite, but he's just slightly more my favourite. Yeah.
Respect to you for that answer, because I've asked this question many times. The best answer I've gotten is the one that's annoyed me least that day, but you're the first one to actually name a child, so I should give you some kind of award for that. Just didn't even hesitate. Boom.
Yeah, you want to see him? He's immaculate. Yeah.
Oh, cool. I love that. I mean, I can answer that about my cats, but I just couldn't say it about my girls. Just couldn't do it.
Well, there's the difference between No, I love them all, but he's a good egg. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Love it.
You've worked in the accounting and technology / fintech space for a number of years.
25 years.
Is it 25 years?
25 years.
Probably, without showing my age. Yeah, I started in practice when I was 19. I'm 45 now, so yeah, it just coming up to 26 probably. Yeah.
Okay, let's take it.
Oh, sorry, go on, Dan.
No, go on, sorry. Go for it.
I was about to say, so you used to be from Sage as well, didn't you? You worked for Sage for a good bit of time.
Yeah, 17 years I was at Sage. Yeah.
17 years. So with you doing that for I think it's about 25 years you've been working for tech and accounting. What's the one belief about accountants that you had to unlearn on your journey? So you're 19, and then suddenly you're working for Sage and Walters Kluwer. What is the one belief about accounting that you had to unlearn?
Yeah, okay. I mean, it would be really obvious to say that the stigma about the accounting industry is that it's a bit grey and a bit boring. Luckily, I joined an accountancy firm that my like, you know, the uncle that's not your uncle but really your uncle, owned in Leon-C. In Leon-C, and it was a top firm. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And what I loved most about it was, like, I'll put my hand up for anything, pretty much, you know. So it'd be like, who wants to go and count pallets for a stock take in a pallet yard on Tilbury Docks? Well, yeah, I'll go, you know. Who wants to go and do an audit of a flower shop on Portobello Road? Like, I'll go. You know, what I loved about it was how diverse the role was as a junior in an accountancy firm. And like, I might have got a bit of special treatment because he's my uncle, not my uncle, sort of my uncle. And I'd go on some pretty cool jobs and enjoy myself. So I wasn't just sat there with a adding machine doing the basics. But what did I have to unlearn? I mean, you know, it's stereotypically the industry it's a bit boring, it's numbers, but I didn't have to unlearn it. My dad was an accountant and he was a cool one. And Brian, who ran the firm in Leon-C, was a cool one. So I think there's probably a stigma out there, isn't there, that everything's a bit after the fact in practice. But yeah, luckily for me, I went in with a rose-tinted experience of accountants in my life.
And also just go to an evening with some accountants after a few drinks.
We're going to have to jump into the chat. Sorry, Zoe. We've got Darren Glanville. He's tuned in. He's a friend of the show. He's saying hello. And he also says 25 years plus and still a good-looking chap. Basically, you guys are like the bald and beautiful duo of the fintech space. That's what I see.
Listen, there's a few people in this industry that you would that I'd feel comfortable with saying. What's the right word? There's a few people in this industry that I feel comfortable really bigging up. Right, Darren and I met when I worked in telesales for Sage, and Darren worked in field sales, and he was cool then, and he knew everything then. So can you imagine where he is now? Like, yeah, one of the godfathers, Darren. I love you, mate. I'm not seeing you for a long time.
He is an oracle. I called him an oracle. He doesn't know this. Like I refer to him as the oracle to other people. Like, you got a problem, you would understand something, go ask Darren. He knows. He either knows somebody who knows the answer, or he knows the answer.
Yeah, it was funny. I saw Darren at Accountex in Manchester last year or the year before. I just said, when are we going to pack all this in, mate? You know, it'll be a good day, won't it? You know.
Dale, when are we going to get? When can we interview Darren Glanville?
We've already interviewed Darren Glanville. He's already been on the show.
Can we do it again so I'm on it?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Zoe, why don't you refer to him now? Like, look to the camera and ask Darren if he can be on the show. Like, you ask him.
Hi, Dark Web Darren. Can we interview again, please? Thank you. Back to you.
Problem solved. Neil, sorry, because it's not about Darren today. It's about you.
No, it's not about Darren. Sorry.
You know, Darren can do one right now. Would you like a serious question or a silly question?
Silly, always.
Okay. I think I've asked this one before, but I'll ask you again. If you were a biscuit, what kind of biscuit would you be that accurately portrays your personality and why, but don't just pick your favorite biscuit?
Yeah, go on. That is silly. Yeah. I'm gonna go like, right, here we go. Any of those, like a custard cream or one of them Fox's fellas. Anything that's got a lovely little soft middle, because I'm a big softie, really. So yeah, anything like that. Yeah.
I like that.
Okay. Again, next one. Do you want a serious question or a silly question? We'll go.
Yeah, go on. Let's have a serious one. Let's mix it up.
Okay. With your role, obviously you've got a sales background. What do you think makes a good salesperson within the accounting and fintech space?
Yeah, top question. So I've worked in sales. I mean, I started in technical support out of practice, tech support at Sage, and then moved into sales. And I wasn't the best new business prospecting, hunting salesperson, but I'd say I was one of the best account managers, relationship type salespeople, right? So I think that there's a couple of things that makes a really good salesperson in our industry. First and foremost, your knowledge of the industry. Like, I found it really easy personally when I started sales because I'd been in practice, I'd worked in support, and I could talk as a peer and not as a salesperson, right? And I think I've said that all my career from a sales leadership point of view when I'm looking to recruit people. I think you can teach anybody to sell, but I think the knowledge of the industry and talking credibly is probably the most important thing. And then, you know, the question being like, what makes a great salesperson is not being a salesperson. Like, you know, what sales 101 is, don't walk in there, get your laptop open and start bashing through this thing I really want to show you. You know, like the best salespeople that I know walk in with some big questions. You know, what's keeping you awake at night? You know, where do you see your business going in the next 5 years? Tell me about you. Tell me about the industry. Tell me about this, and be a lot more conversational and a lot more open and let it flow. Right. So if I look at my team today in the UK or across Belgium and the Netherlands, the best salespeople are the ones that don't sell, in the nicest sense. You know, it's those that are comfortable going and having a good conversation. Not let me show you them.
It's all about relationships, right? Isn't it? So accountants, I believe, buy from those they like, know, and trust. It's this little phrase that Ashley Leeds uses a lot, and it's true, isn't it? It's a very relationship-based industry, isn't it? Don't you think?
Yeah, totally. Without being too cliche, people buy off people, right? So you know, if your role is to sell accountancy software, whether it's pre-accounting, post-accounting, audit, whatever, you know, you're not going to sell it by walking in and going, I know you've got a problem and here's the way I will fix it. And can I have some money, please? You know, like, what's keeping you awake? How do we grow this? You know, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I think the best salespeople, Dale, to answer your question, aren't properly salespeople. You know, they're relationship builders.
That's a great answer, thank you. So you've worked, like as Zoe's mentioned, for Wolters Kluwer and Sage, two of the biggest software houses in the UK and Wolters Kluwer in the world in terms of just business, and not just fintech, but just business software. So what I want to ask you is, you've seen probably like some trends, and there's a saying, there's nothing new under the sun. What are your thoughts about the cyclical nature of fintech, as in innovation jumps forward, and new providers coming in, and you've seen them rise and fall? Like, do you have any kind of thoughts or opinions? That's a very nebulous question, I'm aware.
No,
leaving it open for you.
No, it's good. So there's a number of constants in our industry, you know, and the constants were there 20 years ago when I started in telesales at Sage, and they're there today. That until something monstrously changes, we still all need to fill a tax return in. We still all need to keep our records. We still all need to do this bookkeeping, right? So, as well as cyclical, there's a constant metronome. Something that drives me mad, right? It drives me mad is the phrase compliance is dead. It's all about advisory. Like, if you turn compliance off tomorrow, then I wouldn't like to think what percentage of our customers' fees are tied into compliance, right? Advisory is really important. It's really important, but the cyclical lazy comment of compliance is dead drives me mad, right? So, like, I've got no interest in time for that one. It's interesting, I think, you know, if you look at the industry, you get a lot from trade shows, and I think for me, you can read into stuff like, you know, Accountex. 3 or 4 years ago, there's a glut of payment providers.
Cough, cough, alternate events. If we're going to name drop
any events.
If we're going to like, maybe we should name drop the one that Zoe kind of runs. Just throw it out there, like, you know, DAS, Accountex, Fab, but maybe just alternate events, but just a little bit of promo. No.
Let's talk about events more around, but alternative events are the best, Zoe. Yeah.
We'll get that clipped up, Zoe. We'll get that clipped up. Neil Parsons says, yeah.
We will.
Let's do it. Our
sorry.
Our marketing director Skin will be crawling anyway that this is live and unscripted. So but if you think about it, like 3 years ago or 4 years ago, everywhere you look, other than the big vendors, like it's payment. Last year, NTD, you know, like there is the general slide. If there's no big compliance change, then we talk about efficiencies and we talk about you know, additional adjacencies, and then when there is a big compliance change, that's all we talk about. So it's frustrating and good in equal measures, really, because we can't always talk about NTD, can we? You know, it's going to get a bit dull.
I'm going to do one more question, and I'm going to hand it over to Zoe because I realise I've monopolised the question so far. Okay, final question for me for this moment. What advice would you give to the fintech startups and scale-ups? Because you've got the purview of a bigger business. What advice would you give them?
I think if we go back to the customer, right, the customer is generally the accountant, or in some cases, actually the customer is the end user of the accountant. So I think what do we see potentially some startups start and fail because they've not spent enough time on that sort of customer identikit? Like, what is the problem to solve, or what is the job to be done?
Yeah,
Because there's a lot of luxury products, I would say, in our market. I think there's a lot of luxury products, and I think not always does 1,000 apps make you more effective. It's picking the right ones to deal with the right problem. So I think, my advice would be, firstly, it's a great market to be in because there's so much repetitive task. There's so much rigidity to what everybody has to do that you can fit a solution into that and show that you can save some time. But I think I'd err on the side of necessity and less on the side of luxury, because you'll see the growth come out. In my opinion, you'll see the growth come out of obviously adoption, but also a genuine need for a job to be done that can be automated or fixed or solutionized, or whatever the right word would be. I think I wouldn't want to pump too much of my money into something which was an adjacency of an adjacency in this market, or a bit of a luxury. Henceforth, compliance is not dead.
Straight facts from someone who knows what they're talking about. Thank you, Neil, for saying it, because I think we have similar opinions on this, but you carry more gravitas and weight because you've been doing it longer, so thank you for vindicating.
I might carry more weight, Dale. Yeah, you put in the gym this morning.
That's not what I meant. That's what I meant. Zoe, over to you.
I just think actually accountants are wising up. Okay, so when I took over Accountex, which we can mention because I love Accountex, it doesn't. It's kind of like when I first joined, the accountants were quite happy to spend out on lots of tech, like, ooh, shiny new toy. But something's just changed in the last 2 years, and they're wising up and they're getting really smart and clever. And attending an event and getting lots of data and meeting lots of people isn't cutting it anymore. And I think if you just look at the turnover of new exhibitors, particularly Accountex scale, because they have loads of exhibitors there, the turnaround of those, they're coming in and then they disappear again. It is quite a lot at the moment. But yeah, Dale, there's some nice messages coming in. Did you want to?
Well, there's Sam Green, my first FM of the year. Happy 2026. Sam, I'm disappointed because this shouldn't be your first FM of the year. What were you doing the last 2-3 weeks? Unbelievable, Sam. Oliver Kiddo, he used to work at Walters Kluwer. Why are we in business obsessed with death? Of course, compliance isn't dead, and nor will it die. Business is full of evolution and change. Well said, Oliver.
Yeah, well said, Oliver. Nice to see you, bud.
All right, let's zoom in for some silly questions.
Question. So, from your
Hold on.
profile, it tells me you're from the South End, but as you tell me, actually, your family are from the South End, but you are, in fact, Northern yourself. But this is what the co-pilot question came out, and I'm going to go for it, right? I'm going to go for it. So you ready? Jelly deals.
Yeah, cool.
Delicacy or a dare? And what is it about accountancy tech? What is the accountancy tech equivalent of jelly deals? Something that's a bit old school, but some folks still swear by it.
I've got to be really careful with that one. Okay, so jelly deals are disgraceful. Yeah, they're not to be consumed. Like, having said that though, so like you're right. My profile might say something about Southend. My whole family are from Essex. Like every one of them, right, apart from me. So
I mean, your accent's a bit of a giveaway.
Yeah, right. So my mum and dad, my dad moved to Manchester in the 80s, and then that's why I've got a bit of a Manchester accent. But yeah, they're all from Southend. And funny enough, there's a few things I do love in that remit, right? I love pie and mash, like proper East End pie and mash, and like shout out to Cooksies and Manzies, but especially Manzies, they do delivery. So like I sent some to my mum the other day, who lives up here in Cheshire now, and she couldn't get over it. I think it was like she'd seen fire for the first time when something arrived from London fresh. So no, jelly deal is a straight no. The question is, so say again, it was like, what's the equivalent of a jellied eel in the accountancy industry? It's old, but it works.
Or it's traditional. Let me guess, something's traditional. We acclaim it, but actually no one actually really likes it.
Christ. Well, I'll steer clear of any particular pieces of software.
Good call. Good
that
call.
might
We
be
don't want that
traditional.
smoke. We don't want that smoke. Actually, I'll tell you, like offline, please tell me, but online,
Yeah,
please don't do that.
I don't know. I think if I still worked in practice today, one of the things that I used to love, and it is old, and I doubt it's used anymore, but I loved my adding machine. I loved an adding machine. Has anybody, I don't know if you guys have ever used an adding machine, but like an adding machine is like, it was an adding machine. It was like a calculator on steroids, right? No, it's better than that. Better than a calculator. You could add stuff up so fast with it. You got really used to it to not have to look like touch typing on a calculator. I loved it. I loved it. So I don't know how many people still use the adding machine, but yeah, it was ace.
All right. Neil, are you a tea or coffee drinker or both? Or neither?
Coffee. Yeah, coffee all day. Yeah, I don't mind tea. I don't mind tea. But, yeah.
So guessing this before you ask the question, because I wonder if you can guess if a person's a tea or a coffee person.
I don't think you can guess. I think people will surprise you. So Neil, you mentioned that you live in the middle of nowhere, so you probably don't have. Do you have like a local coffee shop?
Yeah, I mean, I don't live like in the Isle of Hebrides, Dale. Yeah, of course we've got a local coffee shop. Yeah.
Okay, but presumably they do kind of swanky artisanal coffee where it's like quite tasty and they've got their own kind of blend.
Yeah. All of that, yeah.
All right. So obviously you like your local coffee shop, you want to support local and they do good coffee. But when you're out and about, because I know you travel, what chain will you go to if you have to go to a chain? Are you going to Starbucks? Are you going Costa? This is an honor of Tony Stevenson. This is his question usually, but
yeah, it's good enough. It's good enough. I'm not a big fan of Starbucks. Costa at a push, but I think Cafe Nero is probably my favourite. I think they probably do the best coffee for me.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Zoe,
I'm sure I read somewhere that Starbucks coffee's got less caffeine than a cup of tea, so I've got no interest in that.
Yeah. It's so overpriced as well. Again, because you got 4 kids right now. When you go into Starbucks and they'll go, I want a bubble tea or I want this smoothie or this, that's like 30, 40 quid just done.
Yeah, right. We talked about it before. I've got an 11-year-old daughter who this morning made a matcha to put it in a Stanley cup to walk to the bus to a private school. So I get covered with Starbucks more than most. Yeah.
Oh dear. Oh, hi Kevin. Good to see you. Good to see you, Kevin. Okay, so red button. If you could press one button to instantly change a single behaviour across every UK accountancy firm, what would you choose and why?
That's a great question. Yeah. I want to answer that question.
All right, well, I'll ask you in a minute now.
No. Neil's the guest. We got to get Neil to answer this.
Yeah. Let me get to this. So if I can hit a red button and it immediately change any behaviour, God. I'm going to get to the point on this one. I don't know the answer. What would I change? I would change. I'd change procrastination. Right. I think our industry is pretty good at circling the drain at times and not making a decision, and that isn't from like a sales perspective, but I think if you look at the agility of some other industries and how quick we are to make decisions and how quick we are to push ahead, I think the accountancy industry can learn a little bit from that. So yeah, maybe just the behaviour I would change would be say yes or no, but do it quickly. And that's not from a sales point of view. Make a decision on how your business needs to grow and go for it. Be okay with making some mistakes and taking some risks. So yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, I like that. Go on, Dale, give us a quick answer because I want to know what you think.
As the person who does procurement on the other side of things, where you sell to me, right? I kind of agree, right? Things take too long, but we've also touched on this. So you said, or Neil, you said accountants are getting more savvy in purchasing. if I could press one button and make all accountancy firms do things, when it comes to their fintech, just have a better procurement process, right? Have a clear vision, reason for why you want that software. Make sure the right people are testing it. Make sure the right people are giving the feedback. Make sure the right people are bought into it, and then just do it. None of this dilly-dallying, none of this going to Alternate or going to Accountex or DAS, talking to a salesperson for 6 months, then saying you're going to do it, then not do it. And then someone buying something else 3 months later that doesn't actually work, and the VAT team actually haven't looked at it. It's like no. Just have it very clear, have a procurement process, and then do it, and can do it consistently. That's my one thing. If all accounting firms could do that, and I get it. I know smaller firms might not have a person to do it, but you can have a modicum of like, this is what I need, this is what I need to do, and this is how I'm going to score it and test it, and then I'm going to make that decision. That's my thing.
Yeah.
One of those powerful things that came from an advisory board meeting, because they helped me. I put together a lot of tech leaders from top 300 firms, and I said to them, like, just give me some ideas. And someone came up and went, imagine starting your tech stack from scratch. And it's like, wow, yeah, okay. And actually, and take it further. Imagine starting your accountancy firm from scratch, and then looking back and going, would you keep the people around you? And I just love that. So I think, start from scratch thinking, because I think at the point now, everyone's got so many subscriptions here, there, and everywhere. I think they just don't know what to do themselves, do they? They're all running around with no idea what to do.
Definitely. Yeah, and either I'm giving away the keys to a big business here, or I'm giving away the idea that I'd do, but I'm never going to end up doing. But there must be some solution out there. I reckon there's loads of subscriptions in every firm of accountants that, a bit like in your personal life, you didn't realize you had 3 Netflix accounts, and you didn't realize you were paying for Prime twice or whatever. I bet you there's something that can interrogate the accountancy world that would throw up all sorts. Now, all the other softwares vendors in the industry would hate me for that, because like, we're quite happy if you're subscribing it and not using it. It's even easier, right? But
so Neil, the following is an unpaid promotion, but I'll happily promote them. App Venturi are that company. They have literally gone, okay, how do we link into someone's SSO to use Microsoft? How do we analyze the accounting firm's ledger? And then how do we use AI to match those to see what subscriptions you've got? And literally you can plug in some of your financial data with all the, GDPR data protection stuff, and it'll spit back and go, you are spending 1 million a year, and for some reason you've got 500 zero licenses but 300 staff. It will tell you that stuff. It's pretty cool.
There will be a Accountex and DAS, and I don't know who the lady is that run it, but have a chat with her, because she's really interesting to speak to.
There you go. Well, it sounds like she owes me a pint. Yeah.
I'll put you in touch if you want to be in touch with them. All right, silly question. Neil, if you could punch one fictional character in the face and get away with it, no repercussions, no judgment, who would that fictional character be?
Wow. Oh my God. Well, I'm trying to think. No one really annoys me, Dale. I'm not annoyed by anybody enough to punch them in the face. Fictional character. I don't know. Anybody who's done anything wrong to Tony Soprano would get my punch in the face. Like the greatest TV series ever to have been made, in my opinion, is The Sopranos. And like, how much do you want this mob gangster to win every time? Brilliant writing. I don't know. I'm always on his side, even if he's being a terrible person. So yeah, anybody who's got a problem with him's got a problem with me. Yeah.
Cool.
I can't remember what my answer to that one. Every time you ask it, I'm like, I can't even remember what I said. I can't remember what I answered to that. What's yours, Dale?
So it's a combination of Neelix from Star Trek Voyager. If you ever watched Star Trek Voyager, he's a very annoying character, and I'd give him a slap, just a little. And then maybe, just maybe, here's the controversial one: Stewie Griffin from Family Guy.
From where?
From Family Guy, Stewie Griffin.
Oh,
yes. Because effectively what I've just said, and please don't quote me on this, no one clip me on this. Effectively what I've just said is I'd slap a baby, which obviously I wouldn't do. But yeah, that's pretty horrific.
Nice. It's gone somewhere. Okay. Yeah, you thought about it too much.
Yeah.
I'd give Minnie Mouse a slap. She's just annoying, isn't she? Go away, Minnie. Yeah. Off you go.
Right. Neil, were you expecting these kind of questions, by the way? Because I know you did some research, but you were expecting this level of foolishness? Or?
Yeah, no, I love it. Yeah, it's good. I'd rather answer a silly question than a serious one. We ask a lot of serious questions.
Dale said, can you help out co-hosting? And I said, who you got on? And he said, I got Neil tomorrow. And I went, yeah. He's good for the banter.
Do you know what I love most about the show is I get people who are very competent and very good about their industry and their jobs. And I think to myself, sometimes I think to myself, I wonder how much they earn in a salary. And this might be their lunch break, but like, how much is this actually costing in time-wise for them to be on the show? So thank you, Neil. Thank you, Zoe, for being on the show, because I know you both are world-class at what you do, and it costs a lot of time and money for you to be here. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah, could always be paid more as well, by the way. Yeah.
Oh, always. Someone from WK is actually watching this.
Yeah.
I also do. I learn a lot out of these. So, like, you had a guest last week as well, but because you're talking banter and you a bit more casual and a bit more relaxed, I actually learn more insights in a much more fun, more learning way. Because I just think sometimes, we're all a bit webinar. Do people ever run webinars still? Do you still go on a webinar?
Yeah.
Free Agent actually do some pretty good webinars, to be honest. They do some pretty decent ones.
Yeah, we put a bit of stock into it, really. I think a webinar is perfect if you want to showcase something to a large number of people, and then, as my learned marketing colleagues would tell me, then atomize that content and create white papers and blah 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 blah. Right, but yeah, I think they've got a time and place still. Definitely, like one to many. Yeah.
Right, so I've got a question. Boardroom versus playroom. You're a dad of 4. What have your kids taught you about a really great tech product that you love, and why?
My kids. I mean, as hard as it is to admit, they're furious when I don't let them just spend the whole day watching YouTube on their iPad and watching like other kids unwrapping presents and stuff, because like it feels like brain rot to me, and I'd rather they were in the garden getting filthy and playing football or whatever it may be. What have they taught me technology-wise? They've taught me that, I guess, if you think about it, Oliver, I've got 5-year-old twins, Henry and Oliver, and I guess because of the way that an iPad or that level of technology is developed, like, they can use it pretty much from being like 2, right? So what does that teach you? Like the UI or the use case or the level of sophistication, like, doesn't necessarily need to be so difficult, or think about that, think about who your user is, and then make the solution fit the user, because like, they're so cool with tech now. I mean, like, Grace is 11 and she'd run rings around me for tech. She calls me old for like using ChatGPT instead of Google and stuff. And yeah,
in her defense, and I include myself in this statement, you, sir, are old. It is what
we
it
are
is.
old.
We're old people now. Like, we are middle-aged. It is what it is. Okay.
I don't feel it though, and like, if weirdly any of the dads from my kids' school have tuned in, I'm definitely the coolest dad at school though. I don't feel 45. Like, yeah, we're okay. Yeah, we're okay. He's got a rocket. No hair.
Ed Franklin, he's in the comments, by the way. He's asked a question. It's a very good question. I'm going to pop this one up. So I'm going to read it out for people who aren't watching, who are just listening. So Ed Franklin asked the question to Neil: who is harder to manage, your home kids or your work kids?
Well, that's a very good question, Ed, because Ed's one of my work kids.
He's one of your work kids, is he?
Nice one, Ed.
By miles, my home kids are harder to manage than my work kids. Genuinely, I think, I didn't want to talk too much about Wolters Kluwer, but the team in the UK are an absolute joy to manage. I've never worked somewhere, and this is in my career, but I've never worked where we have a bunch, it's hard to say, but a bunch of like-minded adults who understand what the goal is and have fun doing it along the way. However, as I said before we got started, to give you an idea about managing the kids, like, my daughter skittled a pint of milk over the floor this morning. My son couldn't find his trousers. One of the twins decided he didn't want to wear a shirt today and was trying to get out of the house with no shirt on. So I don't face those problems when I go to Kingston and see the team, that's for sure.
You mentioned that you're going to be heading up.
I'm not going to
You mentioned you're going to be heading up Belgium and the Netherlands. Did you say? Is that right?
Yeah, I spent for the last 12 months. I've spent quite a lot of time from a sales perspective. So I look after the sales side of the business in Belgium and the Netherlands, and those two businesses are quite different to the UK business. In the Netherlands, it's general ledger and pre-accounting with Twinfield and Baseco, just two products really, and a third in Allura, which is a practice management software. All still to TAs, but there's a lot of SME sales there direct. It's a book, it's a general ledger accounting system. And then Belgium was really interesting last year. E-invoicing is on the horizon for the UK, but it's mandated in Belgium from April this year. So an incredible uptick in software in Belgium and software usage with that e-invoicing mandate across Europe. So it's great. I really enjoy it, actually. They're three very different cultures. Belgium, the Netherlands, and the UK. Everyone's got a slightly different way of doing things and slightly different ways of communicating. But yeah, it's really interesting. It's good to broaden your horizons outside the UK at times.
How's your Flemish? Any good?
Yeah, terrible. Yeah. I can pretty much say no. It's terrible. I can say good morning, and that's about it. And don't ask me to, because it won't be right.
Fair play.
Luckily, everybody in Belgium and Netherlands speaks fabulous business English, so we're lucky in that respect.
It's really embarrassing. I like the sense of humour that the Dutch have. I love their sense of humour. I don't know if you feel the same, but
yeah, I love it. Yeah, I really do.
Yeah.
The Dutch are extremely direct in a good way, right? In a good way.
Yeah. That kind of leads me to my next question, and it's semi-loaded. I was going to say, like, when dealing with international staff, international clients, what cultural aspects do you think we could take from them from business that we could do in the UK?
Yeah, good. Let's stick with the Dutch then. I think the guys in the Netherlands are extremely caring. They're extremely knowledgeable. This is in my team, right? And they're all, they're also direct. Direct guys are, I'd rather have it. We'd all rather have one to the head than five to the body, right? So, just get to the point, be direct. But also, when you're dealing with different cultures, you do also need to remember that is the case, and not to take unnecessary offence in some cases. Because you could get all precious about it, right? But I think knowing that up front, that cultures are different. In fact, I went. We had a really good keynote speaker once. There's a book. I've got it here somewhere.
Well, let's
the culture map. There it is. The culture map. That one there. Look. The Culture Map by Erin Meyer. Mm-hmm. That's a great book. That's a great book because it talks to you about how different cultures think, how different cultures interact with each other. I don't know. Think about the guys in the States, right? What we learned there is that if the guys in the States are going to give you bad news, they tell you three good things about you first. So if you hear a third one, it's coming. But then also, the German culture is a lot more, really wants to understand how you arrived at that decision. Mm-hmm. Whereas the Brits, maybe, and the Dutch are like, this is a decision, let's get on with it. But being cognizant of that is really important,
Yeah. Before we move on, I was going to say, we've got a audience question, and I think, again, it's time for another Zoe question because I've been monopolizing all the questions. Neil, would you like an audience question next or a Zoe question next?
Well, I can see the audience question, so I need a little bit of time to think about that one. So let's go for Zoe. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to... Yep, Zoe, you're off. You're on.
Right. I need to know what those paintings are behind you now. Because you know what? When you work from home, and we're all working from home, right? I actually think the art behind you is super important because, again, I'm a relationship person. I like to ask questions. But I think
normally I've got like this Zen background on with my name on it and the Walters Clear logo. Normally you don't see this really, but
all
right, that's good. So that's my daughter Grace when she was about 4. No, yeah, sort of. you upload a photo and it does something to it. It's quite cool actually. And if I took the front of the picture off and took that out, you'd find one of Ted. So I cycle that one. She's my favourite at the minute, to go back to your question. And then that's the king. For anybody who knows me, I love Man United, and I'm the right age to have seen the good times before seeing the bad times. So that's Eric Cantona. That's the king.
I knew that, by the way.
He is my all-time hero. And then this one here, that was given to me. Walters Kluwer have got a large DXG development centre in Pune in India. So I went out there, lucky enough to go out there a couple of years ago, and was given that picture of Pune as a gift. So I thought it'd be a nice place to keep it,
I really like that. Thank you, Neil. And like I say, it's really important, doesn't it? It really lets you into kind of where you're from and art as well. I love a bit of art.
Yeah.
Dale, can you just tell me about that picture behind you? Because I've always wanted to ask. Why have you got a flower behind you?
That's a good question. First of all, the wall behind me is blue and the picture is blue. I'm a very simple creature. Second of all, a friend of mine, he's an art teacher and an artist, and he painted that. And I said, hey man, that's a really cool picture. Could you sell it to me? And he went, how much do you think it's worth? I went, I don't know, 80 to 100 quid. He went, here you go, you can have it. So a friend of mine gave me this picture, and it seems to match the blue in my office. So that's why it's there. There's no story. You can't see it, but there's a lot of, like, it's kind of acrylic/oil mixture. There's a good texture to it as well. So I like it when pictures have got texture, because you're not supposed to touch them, obviously, but I like the texture. Yeah.
So after this, we'll just turn around and just have a bit of a feel.
Yeah, I'll just be like fondling the painting. Let's go to Mark Howison. Mark Howison, again, long-time friend of the show. You don't know this, Neil, but Mark wrote the FM intro music that you heard today.
Oh, he did.
And the bit you heard is only a 20-second clip. There's actually a 3-minute song with like more verses and stanzas, and it's got more to it. It's crazy.
Well done, Mark.
No, he did it live on the show. Like, he was an impromptu guest, and he went, "Do you guys want a theme song?" I was like, "Yeah," and he did it. I was like, "It's incredible."
Amazing.
Yeah. LHR, is it LHR or LHR? LRH, LHR Marines. That's where he's from. He's based in Scotland. Mark Howison, Joshua Ravan says you are open to ideas. Can you name the best idea someone has given you in the last year and explain what you did with it? I assume by last year he means 2025, because this year's barely started.
Yeah, good enough. So there's a theme here, right? We saw Ollie Kiddle before, didn't we? And Josh Revan, if it's the same guy, used to work at Walters Kluwer a long time ago. So if he's watching, hi, Josh, lovely to see you again, mate. Okay, yeah, I'll give you an answer to this one. So I don't expect anybody here wants to work until they drop dead, right? So for me, I want to make sure that I'm in a position at a certain point in my life where we can retire and enjoy ourselves, right? So I think a bit of advice somebody gave me last year was try and map out what that number looks like that you need on that day, right? And I'm saying it now, and I think I would say it when the day comes, that when I've got £1 more than I think I need, then that'll do, So the advice I got was, try and work everything out to a date that you think you don't need a penny more to then never work again. And I went through that exercise. It was quite cathartic, actually. It was more than I thought it would be as well, by the way. Certainly more. Now we pay 20% on private school fees, so that was good. But yeah, like, just, we all say quite easily, I'm going to retire when I'm 58, and that'll do. But are you? And that's okay as well. And if that is what the goal is, then work out as best you can from now what that number needs to look like. And then you've at least got it on a big post-it note in the office. Or, like, if you were running your own accountancy firm, and there's a lot of acquisition, there's a lot of mergers in the market today, what does the EBITDA number need to look like in order for you to achieve the multiples to make the sale to get to that point, right? Because I think a lot of us think, I could sell my firm for 8 million, but could you? And what does the EBITDA number need to look like to get to that? And is 8 million enough, by the way, or whatever the numbers are? So yeah, it's a really good question. I think that the best bit of advice I got was from someone that I really trust, and they said, that's great if that's what you want to do. 58's your number, 55's your number, 62's your number, whatever it is. what does that number need to look like, and how are you going to get there? And I took that away. I spoke to my wife about it. It was quite cathartic. I don't think, this is what we need. This is what the number needs to be. How are we going to get there? It's not curbed anybody's spending in this household, by the way, but it should.
I love it. Love it.
I think also because I think you're about the same age as me now. I think you're a year younger. But I think I was turning 45 last year, and I'm 46 now. But that gave me a bit of I'm halfway through my life. So it's a little bit of a way of thinking about it, but I want to live till 90. I'm going to try and live till 90 because I'd quite like to be healthy and happy until 90. And then I thought, I'm 45, I'm only halfway there, which is crazy to think that. So I kind of worked back from that in my mindset, actually, in terms of my health and my money and my life and my happiness and whatever. And it just kind of helped me just rework it a little bit. And another one is we had a speaker at alternative events. Sorry to plug it, but she talked about.
You're not sorry. You're not sorry. Don't say sorry. Don't disingenuous sorry. Like, not sorry. Continue.
It was
as you were.
Wasn't it? Did I try and make it more emotional of my? No. Right. She talked about quarters of life. So she said these are your quarters of your life, and she mapped that out. And I thought that's what got me thinking about it, to be honest with you, because I think you're right, Neil. I think it's really important to go off and it's fun, isn't it? It was fun.
Right. Yeah. Let's take age in the opposite direction. So you guys are talking about being middle-aged. What advice, Neil, would you give to a younger person, 17 to 19, either finishing school or just 21, finishing uni, whatever it is, into either getting into our industry, into accounting or fintech, or just getting into work in general? What advice would you give them?
I think if I could give myself some advice at that age, I think I quickly went into work, quickly picked an industry. I don't regret it, but I probably didn't spend enough time having a good look around. I think kind of like 19, you're a kid, aren't you? You're a kid and you don't really know what you want to do. And I think the advice I'd give, their parents might not like it, but I'd be like, just don't start working too soon. Go and look at everything, have a look at the world, whatever, try something. If you don't like it, don't hang around. Just like there's no problem with quitting when you're 19. Just do something for a bit. And if it's not working out for you, do something else and do something else. And then you'll probably find what you do enjoy doing, and then double down on it from there. But you don't need to be 19 and pick your career for the rest of your life, do you? You probably don't need to be 50 and pick the career. But yeah, my advice would be don't sweat that. There's no pressure there. Just go and do a few things and see what you like the most.
Yeah, I like that. That's good.
And it's not all about money as well. I'd say that as well. You can get too caught up in having to earn the most money and show off to everybody. I think I would say go and be happy and try and find something that you really love, and then worry about the rest of it.
That's fair. Speaking of things you love, you're a rugby and golf guy. Which one do you prefer more?
Selfishly, I prefer golf because that's 4 or 5 hours on my own with some pals. And I've got a busy life and a lot of kids and a busy job. So on the odd occasion, I do get to go and spend a bit of time doing that. Selfishly, I love that. And I come home and my wife says, "What do you talk about?" I say, "Nothing." She's like, you were with them for 5 hours. What did you talk about? It's like, nothing really. We just walked around and took the piss out of each other for 4 hours and came home. But so selfishly, I love that. But truly, I talked about my kids before. I coach my kid's rugby team. He's 8, along with 2 or 3 other dads and good guys. And what I love about that, from a couple of things really, it's taught me nothing. So this isn't a LinkedIn post about what did coaching my kids' rugby team teach me about B2B sales, right? It didn't teach me anything about that.
Yeah.
It taught me. It teaches me that he's got 3 siblings, and that 3 hours on a Sunday morning, he couldn't look forward to that more. So I'm so present for that. I absolutely love it. So that's every Sunday, and it's regular, and I look forward to it, I think, as much as he looks forward to it. And I think he looks forward to the hour in the car, and he looks forward to the hot dog after rugby, and he looks forward to playing the match, right? But so loaded question. I love golf. I absolutely love it. I've been playing it since I was 6. I'm pretty good. My handicap's 5 at the minute. It could be better.
Oh, my husband just did 5. That's pretty. By the way, that's for anyone who doesn't
Yeah.
know.
That's really good.
My
That's very
husband
good
just
for a
did that.
non-professional person. That's actually a really good handicap.
And I love it, and I love everything that goes with it. But I think rugby's just pipping it at the moment because there's a regular Sunday morning in the cold with my little boy, and we love it. Yeah.
Okay, one more, and then I'm going to hand over to Zoe. Zoe, I'm sorry, I'm monopolising all the questions. So, golf is your thing. You love golf, handicap of 5.
I don't have any more questions. Though.
Who in the Walters Claw team would you not want to play golf at? Who owns you? Who wipes the floor with you at golf?
Oh,
Do you know what? It's pretty close. You know, it's pretty close. One of my sales managers in the UK, a guy called David Hook, is good, very good, a similar level, and tends to grind it out most times. But in the past, it's generally, if we've had a Walters Club golf day, it's probably been the higher handicappers who I reckon use a little bit of the leather wedge and kick it out of a few bushes, and might not be as fastidious with the rules as I am. So yeah, it's the dodgy ones you want to watch. But Dave's good, yeah. But yeah, I'll hold my own against most of them. Really, we had something the other day. I don't think you watched this, but we went to that in Canary Wharf, the indoor golfing, the pitch thing, and he beat me then. Him and Matt Barnes beat me and Ed Franklin. So it wasn't a great day.
Well,
no,
if there's anyone else from the Walters Claw team who wants to refute Neil and come on the show, please do so. I'm just trying to stir. I'm trying to stir basically to get more people come on the show. That's literally it. Just starting beef.
Don't worry, they know where their bread's buttered, Dale. They wouldn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did laugh at your comments. So my husband is ex-cricket all his life. I think he did semi-county cricket. So he retired and said to me, "Can I take up cricket and golf?" And I was like, "Well, of course you can, because as you know, cricket takes up all day. Golf just takes the morning." So I'm one of these real supportive wives, because obviously, and he plays every Saturday. But if you've got a handicap of 5 nil and you don't play often, imagine if you did play often.
Yeah, maybe. I also haven't got the patience at times. So for anybody who does play golf that's listening, like, I'm either an 82 or a 72. It's never in the middle. Like, if I haven't got the patience. I don't throw any clubs, but I haven't got the patience. So I'm happy with 5, just about. But it could be better. Yeah, it could be better. Unfortunately, it won't be better for another 15 years until all the kids have disappeared and I've got a load of time on my hands and I've hit those numbers I talked about and we've finished working, and then I will go and play really, really aggressively for a long time.
Zoe, speaking of you being a supportive wife, your husband used to play county cricket. When did you start playing cricket?
Oh, yeah. So I started cricket 2 years ago.
After he stopped playing cricket?
After he stopped playing cricket. I'm like you, Neil. I live in a tiny little village. We have a little duck pond with little ducks on there and plastic swans, because the real swans don't come apparently, so we have plastic swans. And this quintessential English cricket ground. It's really super cute. And we set up a women's club, and I've been playing for 2 years now. Played at Hove Cricket Ground last year.
Wow.
We're on the actual ground. And although it's just incredible at this point, we are padding up this year. So I got my pads on last year before the season finished. So I will be trying to do a bit of hardball and getting the pads and the helmets on.
That's cool. We should have it. You should organise, Dale, some sort of big sports day. Some big sports day for the industry.
Maybe.
We do something called Sticky Wicket, and that's quite good fun. The ADO would do something called Sticky Wicket. That's quite good fun. We should do that.
That's food for thought. Thank you, Neil. Yeah, that's cool. Oh wait, can we get Walters Club to sponsor it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. $5.
Bang it. I'll take it. We're drawing to a close. It's almost the hour. Neil, you've been an amazing guest. Thank you. Before we wrap up, there are usually kind of a couple of questions I like to ask. The first one is, do you have any questions for myself or Zoe?
Yeah, go on. I've not thought of one, but I'll think of one now. Zoe, what is the biggest faux pas from a software vendor who is exhibiting at one of your events? What's the worst thing we can do that really irks you?
Oh, the worst thing you can do, think it's an exhibition. They don't need, like, because it's top 300 firms, a managing partner or a C-suite of a top 300 firm does not give a flying about a free pen or notebook. They don't care. They really don't care. So sometimes people turn up with swag thinking it's going to, oh, what swag should we bring? I'm like, they are not going to give a flying about a chili cup, although they were quite nice. Thank you, Sage. Steph, I know in your team now does epic swag, actually. She does get me quite excited with the swag. I will be honest with you. Steph did actually, there was one year I've helped her find the idea. We, a very hot day at an exhibition, you know, the fans, do you remember the little flat fans she got? That was my idea. That's quite a cool idea. But yeah, that's probably the biggest, thinking it's an exhibition and they're there to sell. In fact, circling back to what you said right at the beginning, Neil, it's about relationships. They don't want free stuff. They don't want their badge scanned. It's about having a beer at the bar and really enjoying themselves. So that's a good question. Thank you, Neil.
No worries. Dale, talk to me. You've been at Creston for what, like 4-ish years?
4 years. Yep.
What's the best bit of advice you've been given by any of your bosses or peers at Creston Reeves?
Okay, I'll be a bit personal and vulnerable with this one. I suffer from insane imposter syndrome. You wouldn't guess because I'm so brazen, but I do. And I compare myself to my colleagues who've been in the industry for 15 years, who are qualified, really, really good. And the best advice I got from my boss actually was like, just be you, Dale. We hired you for you. We hired you for your personality. You are intelligent. Just do what you do. I'm the least technical person in the firm, probably, right? In terms of tax, compliance, accounting. I can barely do bookkeeping, honestly. But the advice I got was like, just do you, be confident in your own ability. So I got some encouragement.
Yeah, we'd all do well to remember that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, right.
Right. You know what? We're going to end this a little bit early.
Question. Well done, Neil. That were the best questions I think we've had, actually, Dale.
I mean, it's almost like he's a salesperson and asks good questions, like he told us he did at the beginning of the show. Like it's almost like he knows what he's doing.
2 of these, 1 of these. My dad did
I'll send you the contract now.